very good morning and Jai Hind everyone. Let's begin today's class with the same topic that we have concluded yesterday. What was that? It's a poem written by William Butler Yeats, an Irish airman foresees his death. So, is everyone ready with the book and the pen to mark in the book? Cleared? So, let's proceed toward the class. Here is the poem on my screen, children. So let's read it once again to enjoy it, and then we start working with the exercises. Here is the poem. An Irish airman foresees his death. And who is the writer of this poem? Keep remember it. This is very important to know the writer's name. Who is the writer of this poem? William Butler East. Okay, so this poem is about an Irish airman, and that he is thinking whatever thoughts are going on in his mind at the last moment of his life when he envisages his death. So, what he is talking about? I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight, I don't hate. Those that I guard, I don't love. My country is Kilterton Cross, my countrymen Kilterton's poor. No likely and could bring them loss or leave them happier than before. Nor law, nor duty bade me fight, nor public men, nor cheering clouds. A lonely impulse of delight drove to this tumult in the clouds. I balanced all, brought all to mind. The years to come seemed waste of breath, a waste of breath, the years behind. In balance with this life, this death. A wonderful poem has been written by East, and this poem is spoken by an Irish airman who is a fighter pilot, and here he is revealing his final thoughts. What he is saying that the speaker knows that he will die somewhere in the clouds, and still he is in a dilemma, he is in a tumult. What is that? He doesn't hate his enemies and he doesn't love the people who are being protected by him. Means the people who for whom he is fighting, he doesn't know them, he doesn't love them. And the people to whom he is fighting, they are not his enemies because he doesn't know them. Okay, so somewhere he is not at all affected by this war, and that is why he is in a state of confusion, that why he is in that state at the present time. And that is why he is saying that the people who are being protected by him, he doesn't love them, and the people who are being killed by him, he doesn't hate them. The airman is indifferent to the war because he because as he knows that his country is neither going to gain anything from that battle and nor going to lose from this battle. He is fighting in the war not out of a sense of duty or patriotism, but because he desires to be alone, cut off from others. Means just because an impulse of delight, he has a desire to be a fighter pilot, and that is why he is there in that first world war, in that battlefield. Nobody forced him to join the military. That's why he is saying that. No? Nobody has asked him, nobody has bade him to be a fighter pilot. That was his desire to be. And at last he says that as his life was not of much worth. What is the meaning of not of much worth? means he belongs to Kilterton Cross country, and that country is a very small country. The people living there have a very simple common life. They are engaged in their common routine, means they go for their livelihood, go toil hard, come back to their families in the evening, have a good time with their family members, means they get pleasure from little little things. They never hurt others. They all are, means all together they all are good people. Okay, and have not done any such remarkable in their life that the people are going to miss them or keep them remember for long. So that is why he is saying that his life was not of much worth, as he is also the native of Kitterton Cross, so he is also a common man. Okay, so nobody is going to miss the laws being made by him when he is dead, and his death will only serve to balance it. And here he is going to die for a noble cause. Just he is fighting there just for his colonial masters, the Britishers. Okay, so somewhere it's a noble cause because he is protecting the people. Okay, doesn't matter, he doesn't love them, but somewhere he is working for mankind. So he is saying that his death is going to make a balance with his life. Okay, so here this was the poem all about. Now it's time for vocabulary discussion. So let's talk about the hard words of this chapter. The first word is fate. Fate means, children, basically the meaning of fate is luck or destiny. We say now, good luck, have a good luck. So what does it mean? This good luck means you will have health, wealth, prosperity in your life. Means you get success, you get name and fame. So this is known as good luck or good fate. But here, what is the fate of the poet? Here, the poet is here the poet is going to die. Not the poet. We are talking about the fighter pilot, the airman. So, what is written in airman's fate? The death. So, the meaning of fate in the poem is death or destruction, because that death is going to be his destiny. He is going, as he is going to die, so that death is going to be his fate. So the meaning of fate in this poem is death or destruction. Otherwise, the meaning, what is the meaning of fate? Luck or the destiny. Cleared? Now our next word is bait. Bait means commanded or asked. When something is asked to you, what does it mean? You have been asked to do something, like I asked you to do your work, so I bade you to do your work. I asked to sit quietly, so I bade you to sit quietly. Means that when you are asked to do something, that means you are bade to do something. Now learn one more thing here. You must have heard the word forbid. Forbid means not to do. Suppose the sentence is don't pluck the flowers. It's a very common sentence. Don't pluck the flower means, what it means? You are asked not to pluck the flower, or you are forbid to pluck the flowers. So when we say forbid, so not to do, you are asked not to do. But when we say bade, so bade means do, you are asked to do that thing. Clear to everyone? So what is the meaning of bade? Commanded or asked. Now let's talk about the third word. Our third word is impulse. Impulse means a sudden inclination. So what is the meaning of inclination? Inclination means, children, liking for something. Means when you get the sight and have love for that thing. Like आप देखते ही आपका मन करता है कि वो आपको मिल जाए या आपकी हो जाए. That is known as inclination. Means a kind of longing, kind of attraction is developed. That is inclination. So when you have a sudden inclination for something, so that is known as impulse. What was the impulse for the fighter pilot in the poem? Means become a fighter pilot. That was the desire of his childhood desire of that fighter pilot, and that is just because of that he became. So it that is why he is saying in the poem, a lonely impulse of delight. In the childhood, he must have seen a fighter plane and became ambitious for that. Okay, I would be a fighter pilot, and that is why he is there in the battlefield. So becoming a fighter pilot or an airman was his impulse of delight. So what is the meaning of impulse? A sudden inclination, a sudden liking for something. Now the fourth word is tumult. Tumult means a state of confusion or disorder. Means when you get confused, so you are tumult. How to use this? Like when you are in such a state that not able to decide whether I do or whether I should not do. Suppose uh, you are invited in a party. Okay, you are invited in a party. Okay, when you reach there, so you just remember that, oh, you have lots of work in pending to compile. You have to complete lots of work. So now you are in a tumult. You are in a state of confusion that you should stay there in the party to enjoy more, or whether go back to your place and complete your work. So when you get confused, or you are in a state of confusion or disorder, so such kind of situation is known as tumult. Means you are not able to decide that what you should do or what you should not do. So what do we call such a state of mind? That is known as tumult. As the fighter plane was in the poem, he was in a tumult. That why he is a fighter pilot. Nobody has forced him. Neither he has been encouraged by any politician, nor the people who were cheering for him. They were the people of Great Britain. He has no liking for them. He was unknown to them. Even then, he is fighting there in the battle. So he was in the state of a confusion that why he is there, or who is he to be there for those people who are unknown to him, who are stranger to him. So what is the meaning of tumult? A state of confusion or disorder. जब आप confused होते हैं, आपको पता नहीं होता कि आपको करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए. So that is known as tumult. Now the next word is foresees. Foresees means anticipation or envision for something. Means when you get an idea for something that is going to happen in future, that is known as foresees. जब आपके फ्यूचर में कुछ होने वाला है, आपको इस बात का आइडिया लगता है. Like here in the poem, the airman foresees is that he has an speculation and anticipation that he is going to die. So this is known as foresees. Means realizing something that it is going to happen. So this is known as foresees or anticipation or speculation. We can also call it that envision or it's my premonition. Many are the synonyms we can use for it. Okay, so this was the word meaning. Now let's come to the first exercise, the first book exercise, that is answer the following briefly. Look at the first question, children. Who is referred to as I in the poem? Just try to understand it right now and learn them also. There is nothing as such in the poem that you need not to cram or need to revise it again and again. If you listen to me carefully and try to understand in a better way, so you don't have to look into your notebook again. Now, what is it? The first question is, who is referred to as I in the poem? So, कौन है ये I? Who is this I in the poem? The Irish fighter pilot. He is talking about, he is speaking, he is the speaker. So, an Irish fighter pilot is referred to as I in the poem. Okay? Now, next is, what feelings of the speaker are conveyed in the third and fourth lines of the poem? So, do you remember the third and fourth lines of the poem? That was, those that I fight, I don't hate, those that I got, I don't love. So, what is the meaning of these two lines? That is only asked in the question. The meaning, the explanation of these points, these two lines. So, what that is the feeling of the speaker he is talking about. So, the airman notes his indifference to the war. Indifference means this war is not going to make any difference to him, means this war is not going to affect him anymore. He is unaffected by this war. Neither it is going to make any loss to him, or nor it is going to give any profit to him. He is in a neutral state. He's not at all going to be affected by this war. Okay, so the airman notes his indifference to the war, as he neither hates the enemy nor loves the people he is fighting for. Okay, as it is written there, don't hate, don't love. Fine. Now look at the third question. Is he fighting for a cause? Do you think he is fighting for a cause? Quote lines from the poem to support your answers. No, he is not fighting for a cause. How did you come to know about that? Nor law nor duty bade me fight, nor public men nor cheering crowds. Sorry. So he is there. Neither anybody has asked to him, nor anybody forced to him. He is not going to get any honor or any glory just because of this war. He is in that battle without any cause. So he is not fighting for a cause, and that is proved by the line. This is the evidence of the line. Nor law nor duty bade me fight, nor public men nor cheering crowds. Okay. Now, question number 4 is, how do you think the speaker visualizes the life? Visualizes means how he look at the life. What is his point of view towards the life? So the speaker is fully aware of his fate, and he is not frightened of dying. Meaning he is not at all scared of his death. Fine? Now, number 5 is, explain what the speaker means by a lonely impulse of delight. We have already discussed this statement many times while reading the poem. The speaker means that he lives entirely for the joy that he experiences when flying by himself in the sky. Means a lonely impulse of delight means he wanted to have the pleasure of flying high in the sky. Okay, and that is why he is not at all scared of his death. He is not frightened of dying. And that is the meaning of this line. A lonely impulse of delight means he lives entirely for the joy that he experiences when flying by himself in the sky. Now look at the next question. How do we know that the speaker is not afraid of death? How do you know that? He is not afraid of death because in balance neither his past nor his future seems to be of any value. Means in his past he was a common man, so he has not done anything remarkable. Same as in the future, he is not at all worried about his future because it doesn't have much to do. Means he just want to enjoy the present. He believes in present, in his present, and that pleasure he is having by flying alone in the sky. So, somewhere this death is going to balance his life, and that is why he is not at all scared of. So, how do we know that the speaker is not afraid of the death? Because he knows that his past nor his future seems to be of any value. Means he is just a common man, and his death is not going to make any difference to anyone. Now, the exercise B, that is reference to context. Here, the four lines have been given. No likely end could bring them loss or leave them happier than before. Nor law nor duty bade me fight, nor public men, nor cheering crowds. Who is the speaker? To whom is he addressing these lines? So, first of all, who is the speaker? An Irish airman is the speaker. And to whom is he addressing these lines? He addresses these lines to his countrymen or those for whom he fights. Here, children, it's written speculation in the bracket. You will also write this speculation. Okay, what is the meaning of speculation? As the poet has not mentioned any specific name of the country or a person, so it is hard to say about whom he is talking. But as he has taken the name of his country, Kilterton Cross, so that is why the reference goes to his countryman. And a part of that, the poet has mentioned the people I guard, I don't love, I fight, I don't hate. So it is mentioned that those for whom he fights. Okay, so both the things will be mentioned in the reference. Where is the person at this time? He is in a fighter plane. Okay, now what is the person implying in the first two lines? The four lines that have been given, we are talking about the first two lines of that stanza. Implying means meaning or the sense of speaking. So, what is the person implying in the first two lines? So, this war is not going to make any difference to his countrymen. Okay, means they are not at all going to be affected by this war. Now the last question is, describe the speaker in your own words. What do you think? How is that speaker? Who is the speaker? The Irish fighter pilot? So what do you think? On which background you make him stand at? What kind of person he is? So the speaker believes in the present, as he says that his death is not going to have any value. Okay, so he believes in present and wants to enjoy it to the fullest, as he is not scared of the death. Because the person who is seeing his death standing in front of him will be too perplexed. He will be in a state of he will be too frightened that, oh, I have to do a lot in my life, and I am going, and it is going to finish in few minutes or few seconds. So he will be in a state of confusion then what to do and what not to do. But here, my speaker is not at all perplexed. He is very calm, cool, and enjoying the moment, whatever he has. He's flying high in the sky and he's fully enjoying that pleasure, that joy. Okay, so the speaker believes in the present and wants to enjoy it to the fullest. Now, this is the time to talk about the critical appreciation. We know that we don't do this section in our notebook, it is only for discussion. Every time I speak out this thing, because children sometimes you get confused that should we do it or not. Okay, now let's talk about the first question, that is, what is a monologue? Describe the characteristics of this poem that qualify it to be a monologue. Children, let's look at the word. Mono means single and log is the speech here. So what is the meaning of monologue? A monologue refers to a long speech presented by a single character, expressing his or her thoughts and ideas aloud. Okay, means when the thoughts and the ideas are expressed loudly. The monologues are more often found in plays and stories, dramas. Okay, but even some poems are also written in monologue, like the poem that you are reading right now is one of them. And children, this poem qualifies as a monologue for various reasons, like it is spoken by a single person, that fighter pilot, Irish pilot. Apart of that, it presents the speaker's thought and feelings only, and it is addressed to the audience. Okay, he is, means there are only two people present, no third person, means the speaker and the listener. So these all characteristics describe it as a monologue, means this poem is a monologue. The second question is, list words used in the poem that evoke the image of war and death. Evoke the image of war means the words that tell that we are talking about the war, and the words that tell you that we are talking about the death. So just sort out the words that evoke the image of war, that are those that I fight, those that I guard, bade me fight, tumult in the clouds. These all words give an image of a war, that we are talking about a battlefield here. Same as meet my fate, waste of breath. These words uh, express that here the end of a life is being discussed, means we are talking about death, where a life is going to be finished. Like meet my fate, here fate is death. Same as waste of breath. Waste of breath means the whatever time I had in my life, that breath, that breathing, that was a waste. Okay, so somewhere the life is going to be finished, the person is moving towards the death. The third question is, what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Though the poem is not written in stanzas, does the poem incorporate a stanzic pattern? What is it? The second part of the questions we are not going to discuss in and large, that children, that is, the first thing is that it will have a lots of terminologies that have been not introduced to you. Okay, and it somewhere belongs to a higher section. So when you proceed towards the higher section, it is better to know about that. There is no need to go in that much depth. Okay, let's talk about what is the rhyming scheme of the poem. So the poem has a stanzic pattern. Whether it is not written in stanza, but it has a stanzic pattern, as having the four stanzas expressing different ideas in each quatrain. Okay, after every four line, a different idea is introduced. So somewhere it forms the stanchic pattern. Now, what is the rhyme scheme of this poem? So, children, this poem has uh, ABAB rhyme scheme. Means in each stanza, in each quatrain, the first line is following to the second line, and the first line is rhyming with the third line, and the second line is rhyming with the fourth line. Like, look at the first stanza. It is ending with fate. I know that I shall meet my fate. And look at the third line. Those that I fight, I don't hate. Okay, let's first come to the. Let's do it in the sequence. Uh, uh, the rhyme of the first line is A. Okay, the A is denoting the rhyme of the first line, fate. The second line is above. The sound is different, so the alphabet is also different. AB. Now let's come to the third. Hate. Hate is rhyming with fate, so the same alphabet. A. Okay. Now look at the fourth line. Love. Love is rhyming with above. Above and love both have the same sound, so it will be B. So this is the rhyme scheme of the first stanza, A B A B, that I was talking about. Sorry. And look at the second stanza. My country is skittered cross. Cross, a different sound, so a different alphabet. Now poor. Again, it is not rhyming with any of the above sounds, so it is having a different alphabet, D. Now third is loss. Loss is rhyming with cross, so C. Now before and poor. Poor and before both are rhyming together, so they have same sound, D. Poor, before. Okay. Now come to the third stanza. Nor law nor duty bade me fight. Fight. Again, fight is not rhyming any of the previous sounds, so here it is denoted with E. Now crowds. Again, a new sound like loss and or cross, crowd, no matching with they don't have the rhyme. So a fresh letter I have used to denote its sound F. Now delight, fight and delight rhyming together, so E. Now it is next is crowds and clouds. Crowds and clouds both are rhyming together, so here I have used F. So what is the rhyme scheme of the third stanza? E F E F. Now look at the last one. It is breath. Breath is again a new sound using letter G. Okay. It is 2 3 4. No, sorry, it's mind, children. The first line, the last letter of the first line is mind. Okay, so that for that I have used G. Now the next sound is breath. Waste of breath, a fresh sound, a fresh alphabet, H. Now behind and mind both are rhyming together, so repeated G. Now the last is death. Breath and death are rhyming together, have the same rhyming, so again H. So you can see that the first stanza has ABAB rhyme scheme. The second has CDCD. The third stanza has EFEF. The fourth stanza has GHGH rhyming scheme. So this is the ABAB rhyming scheme. That's why I called it. Every first line is following to the third line, and the second line is following to the fourth line. Now let's take a glance at the poetic techniques of this poem. So the first thing, as I told you, this poem is considered as an elegy. What is elegy? Elegy is a sad poem written in the memory of someone you love and lost. So here This poem is dedicated to Major Robert Gregory, who was an Irish pilot and died in the First World War. And Major Robert Gregory was the son of that East close friend. Okay, so that's why somewhere this poem is considered as an elegy. While it doesn't fulfill all the requirements of the elegy, but as it is written or dedicated to Major Robert Gregory, who died in the First World War, so somewhere it is considered as an elegy. And the rhyming scheme we have just discussed, that this poem is a single 16 line stanza written in a 4 rhyming quatrain with AB rhyming scheme, and it contains a lot of and stop lines. And stop lines means the lines means when the sense and the meter of the speaker ends to that particular line, it doesn't run to the next line. So that is known as end to end lines. Alteration. Now this is the time to talk about the figure of speech. So alteration, everybody remember that? What is alteration? The repetition of the same sound or the alphabet. So here in this poem, the first line is those that I fight, I don't hate. Here the sound is repeated. Okay, so in the same manner, to this tumult in the cloud, sound is repeated and followed by. So these two, here in these two lines, we find the alteration, figure of his speech. Okay, now the metaphor. Metaphor, what is metaphor? When the comparison is made between two. So the poet uses a metaphor, and that is used in the very first line. Means instead of saying directly that he will die, he says that he will meet fate. Here, the death has been compared with the fate. This fate has been considered as death. So that's why metaphor, figure of speech is used in the first line. Now, repetition. Repetition means when the same word or the same when the a single word or the same not a single, I say same word or same phrase is repeated and used again and again, more and more in a writing piece. Like here in the poem, those that I fight I don't hate, and then again those that I fight I don't love. Same as a waste of breath is used two times, my country, my countryman. These are some phrases and the words that has been repeated again and again, and that is where repetition is found there. Now meter, what is meter? Meter is basically the rhyming structure of a line, children. Okay, so here in this poem, what is the rhyming structure of the whatever rhyming structure it has, ab, this is known as iambic tetrameter. And iambic tetrameter, like, you better try to understand it in the manner that each line is break into four ways, four parts. Like, I know that I shall meet my fate somewhere among the clouds above. Those that I fight, I don't hate. Those that I guard, I don't love. So you can see that the iambic tetrameter has been used in the meter of this poem. Okay, sorry. So this that all is about this poem, children. We have finished up with the explanation and the discussion of the vocabulary and the exercises. Now it's time to work in the notebook. So the writing material is already uploaded in the PDFs that you can take from the school app. That's all for today's class, children. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.